Thank you, Reverend Mark, for spending some time with me today. Um, I have found that it's a little complicated and confusing in trying to access material from the Science of Mind archives. And I've found this not just for myself, but for other people too, because we've all um, had I'm just going to say I'm a little technically a novice in many respects. So what I'd like to do is if you could do a walkthrough with me on how to get what I want from the archives, any material.
Sure, absolutely, Frank. And I appreciate you doing this video, and I hope people who view it find it helpful. One thing before I show how to find something is just to point out that even though we're showing the screen of the Science of Mind Archives website, that the content on the homepage changes frequently based on what's going on at the archive. So what you may see today may differ from what we're recording today. So just know that. And the other thing I'll point out is that we do have a series of other help videos. They're rather short in nature and walk you through a lot of the common things. So if you go under the help videos item here or on the icon that's on the homepage, you'll find some of those videos. But let's say you're looking for something. A couple of things you can come up with is that maybe you know loosely what you're looking for. Maybe you've got the name of the title. Maybe you know it's a talk he did, or Ernest Holmes did, or somebody else did, or the name of a book. One of the easiest ways to search for something on the website or to look for something is to simply go up under the products area. Now, products are where we have all of the audios and documents for the New Thought content. Much of this is available either for purchase or they're available for download. If you're a friend of the archive or a website subscriber, would encourage folks to become a website subscriber or a friend of the archive. You get 20 downloads a month, but this is where all of the items are that are we call products, which are going to be audio recordings and documents. And if you come down under the submenus, you will see that in some cases, one menu opens up another menu. So you can drill down into subcategories for certain items, or some items are just a category unto themselves. But if you're looking for something specifically, go to products and look down. Let's look, say we're looking for something under Ernest Holmes talk transcripts. Then we can click on that. And we know it's a transcript of one of his talks. So all we are now on is a screen that has just talks he did and transcripts of talks. And so if you don't know the title or you're interested in his talk transcripts, you can scroll through this, including any additional pages for that category, and find the talk that you're looking for. And that is same for any of the other products that you might click on. Now, let's say there's one that you open you're sure what category it is, but you know it's a document. You can simply click on Ernest Holmes documents. Let's do that. Products, Ernest Holmes documents. And it's going to open up all of the documents, and it's going to, all the categories, subcategories, going to be aggregated into one large group. Now, if you're searching for something, you can search by putting keywords in either in the gold bar, or you can also put up keywords up here in the magnifying glass. And we'll do both so you can see how it works. But in either case, you're searching the entire website when you do that. You're not searching necessarily subcategories. The subcategories allow you to narrow down and scroll through looking at that category if you're interested in something in that category. But if you're not sure what category it is, you can just simply use the search bars and it's going to find it by that. So let's just put in a word here in the gold bar and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's put prayer, for example. And anything that has the word prayer in the title will be show at the very beginning of this listing. In fact, all of our audio prayers start with that in the title, audio prayer. So you can see that that's going to bring those up. But if we were to go beyond those, we would get into some other things that have words like prayer in the title. So you can see there, I've scrolled down, what is prayer, the prayer that
Right.
gets benefits and so forth. So we found things that have the word prayer in it. And we can use other terms here. Let's use evolution, evolution. And it's going to look through all the website and find things that have evolution in the title. And you can see in this case, evolutionary shows up and so forth. And you say, well, look, this one doesn't have evolution in it. But if we probably were to zero down into it, the description on the page had evolution in it. And
Right.
so we'll actually look down into the titles or the descriptions beyond the title. It will not actually look into the document itself. So it's not going to read that document and find every document that's got the word evolution in it, but it at least will, if it's in the description, find it for you. So those are
Correct.
quick. It's a quick way. Now let me just do the magnifying glass at the top. You can see how this works. You can see now the search up here is at the very top. And let's put in something like growth, Growth. And you can see that things with the word growth in it are going to show up first. In this case, the audio prayer, how to use the law of growth. And so that's one way of looking and using a term to search for stuff. And it gives you a way of finding a lot of stuff quickly. Now, there is a more advanced way to do this, and we want to get into that. And I understand this is the one that sometimes people have had a little confusion about, because we've actually got a master list of all the Ernest Holmes documents and audios available. And you can find that by going to Resources, New Thought Research, Research Tools. And when you come over here, you'll see this category of Research Inventory of Ernest Holmes Content. You can read this on your own, but I wouldn't want to highlight the red label that we've added there, that this spreadsheet that we're going to open is not linked to the actual documents on the website. So what we're actually going to do is click on this. It's going to open a new tab in your browser, which is going to be a Google spreadsheet. And you can use the spreadsheet for finding what we have and then coming back over here on the archives website and looking for it. So let's open up the inventory. I clicked on that.
I want to thank you for that, Reverend Mark, because that's where I think I was getting confused. I was going into inventory thinking that I could get what I wanted right from the inventory list.
Yeah,
And then I'd be like, nothing's going on. What do I do with this?
Yeah, you are not going to be. And so this is just sort of a list that we add to and frequently are updating. As we find new material, we add it in. As we put something up on the website, we annotate the spreadsheet that it's now on the website. And we are constantly flowing new content onto the website. And so what you're going to want to do right off the bat is notice that at the bottom of the screen, there are tabs that take you to various categories. This is all Ernest Holmes' work. And so the first one that you can see is radio and TV talks. But if we go over here, we can open up his records and tapes, invitational classes, his Science of Mind articles. By the way, this Science of Mind article list is the most complete list of the listing of things that Ernest Holmes wrote in the Science of Mind magazine. And by the way, if you know how to use spreadsheets, you can actually open up and search through the spreadsheet to find for something by a certain word or title on that particular page. So maybe we'll do that in a moment. But the Silomar talks, Sunday talks, his books, etc. You get the sort of sense of it. Everyone has something at the top, a different heading that talks you through. Like here on the books one, we can see what year it was published if we had annotated that. If Archives has a transcript. So if you're looking for one of his particular books, here is a complete listing of Ernest Holmes' books, as well as some biographies about him, which are here. But let's go back over to radio and TV talks. I think this is the one people find probably the most interesting and exciting, is on this particular page, we have a listing of all of his radio talks that we know of. And we can see that he did different radio shows through the years, and these are sorted by the year in which he did the radio show or the TV show. And most of these are radio shows. You can see in the 1930s and 40s, he had different radio shows. In the late 40s, he actually started the more famous, this thing called Life Radio Show.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that for a number of years before turning it over to William Hornaday, who took it over early in 52. And then Ernest went on to other things, but he came back. He filled in for Hornaday at a certain period. He did his own TV show for 13 weeks on KCOP TV in LA. And we have the audio recordings of many of these. And then he did a short-lived FM radio show with a different format in 1958 and 1959. And we have some of the audio recordings of those. And so you'll notice as you look through this that we have by date what the title of the talk was for that program. And if we go back up to the top, you can see that the first column is Does the archives have the audio recording? Is the recording on the website? Have we extracted the audio for a prayer? So that some of the prayers that are in the audios, we've taken and clipped those out and put those as audio prayers so you can get them separately, and anybody can just purchase those for a couple of dollars, and you can have Ernest Helms praying on certain topics. And then does the archives have the transcript? And is the transcript on the website? And there's other information that you might find useful if you like doing research about Ernest Holmes. But let's take, for example, an audio that maybe you're interested in finding. And so as you look through this and you say, oh, this one sounds interesting. He did a radio program on spiritual armament. And we have the audio of that, and it's on the website. So what we can do is make a note of this title, Spiritual Armament, and we can see that we also have the transcript out on the website as well. So because the yeses are in this column, we now can go back over to our archives website, and we can either go under the product categories if we're looking for something like Ernest Holmes Audio. We can look for it manually, or we can search for it. And again, there's two search bars, the gold one and the one at the top, and they're both tracking the entire website. So spiritual armament, spiritual arm, and I'll just stop there and see if it gives me spiritual armament, because we don't have to put the entire term in. And you can see that it did. And what's the first two search results? The audio recording that we just saw from the inventory, which we can now open. And if we're logged into the website as a subscriber or friend of the archive, we can now download it, or we can play the audio from this little box right here. And we can just click on that.
Audio comes.
And you can move along.
Wise indeed, when they worked out a system which bound all together in one common purpose.
So you can see, and if you want it for offline listening, you can now download it as well. It will download off to your computer, and you can play it like any other MP3. Now, also, because the search also found, and I'm going back a screen, if I was interested in the transcript's here as well. So,
may I just ask, do we know who transcribed the transcripts?
Yes. It varies based on what the document is. One of the good things that was done back in the 1950s was most of Holmes' work was transcribed, and it was done one of a couple of ways. Now, for the radio shows, he actually created a script, and he loosely read the script.
Okay.
So some of the documents that are transcripts of the radio shows will be the scripts that were written in preparation for him recording it. But I will say that if you go through and listen to the recording and try to read along, you will notice differences, because Holmes sometimes, ad-libbed or threw things in when he was actually recording.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah. Now, if you listen to audios of, say, some of his Sunday talks or some of his classes, you look at the transcript, what you will find is that they typically are verbatim, because what was happening was that somebody was sitting there transcribing his talk. So, and in fact, in a lot of cases, where we don't have the audio recording, we have transcripts, and they were written and typed up by transcribers onto these very thin, kind of now yellowy, but thin paper that they were able to use like carbons and make so many copies of it using carbon paper. And certain copies were given out. And luckily, the archives has kept many of these. They're on very thin, kind of onion sheet type paper, and very fragile. What we have done is taken those and transcribed them into Word documents and create them for people so they can actually see the text on them. So that's where they are.
Thank you, Reverend Mark.
Sure. So I hope this has been helpful. Anything else you'd like me to show, Frank?
No, this is fabulous. Thank you so much. This is going to make it easier for myself and everyone else who might see this video, to allow them to actually find the material they want in the archives.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.